This one is deeply personal and taps into the age-old tension between love and ambition. When we're young, we're told we can have it, our career, love, family. Then, reality hits. Society still often expects women to make sacrifices men aren't asked to. Let's unpack how I, a 30-year-old woman, chose to break someone's heart to save my own, and now have to live with the fallout. I met Aaron when I was 22 at a mutual friend's barbecue. He was flipping burgers like a pro, wearing a faded band tee and telling a story about accidentally setting his eyebrows on fire while welding. I laughed so hard, I snorted. He turned and said, "I like a girl who isn't afraid to snort." The connection was immediate. We spent that night talking under string lights about everything from our favorite childhood snacks to our biggest fears, mine, wasting my potential, his snakes. We fell into a relationship that was easy. Aaron is steady, kind, and funny. He has an uncanny ability to fix anything with his hands. I grew up in a chaotic household, so his calm demeanor soothed me. When we moved in together a year later, we split chores evenly. He never expected me to cook, just because I'm a woman. He loves cooking more than I do. We joked about marriage, kids, and the future, but neither of us felt the need to rush. I was building my career in environmental science. He had just started an apprenticeship at a car shop. We were broke, but happy. As the years went by, our lives settled into a rhythm. He'd come home smelling of oil and metal. I'd come home carrying research papers. We'd curl up on the couch, watch Jeopardy, and yell answers at the TV. We had our fights. I wanted to travel more. He wanted to save money. I wanted to try new restaurants. He preferred his mum's cooking. We compromised. We built a comfortable routine. We rarely talked about long-term dreams in specifics. We assumed we'd figure it out later. The turning point came at a conference last year. I presented a paper on sustainable bio. Afterwards, a woman approached me and introduced herself as the director of research at a renowned German institute. She said, "We've been following your work. Would you be interested in heading a team in Berlin?" My heart nearly stopped. Berlin, leading a team. I'd read about this institute in grad school. It was the pinnacle of my field. The position came with resources, freedom to pursue my research, and opportunities to make real environmental impact. It also meant moving across the ocean for at least 3 years. When I told Aaron that evening, his eyes widened. He said, "Wow, babe, that's amazing." I said, "I know." I started spilling details: the labs, the equipment, the funding. His smile faded. "Germany," he repeated. "For how long?" When I said 3 years, he leaned back. "That's not just a trip," he said. I said, "I know, it's huge." He said, "What about us?" I said, "We can go together. Imagine exploring Europe. You're a mechanic. Automotive is huge there. We could learn German. It could be incredible." He stared at his hands. The next few weeks were consumed by conversations. At first, I imagined we'd find a way. I envisioned us in a small apartment in Berlin, learning the U-Bahn, eating currywurst, visiting museums on Sundays. I pictured Aaron working at a European shop, maybe learning about electric vehicles, expanding his skills. But every time I mentioned this, he shut down. He'd say, "My parents are here. I promised my mum I'd fix up the house when Dad can't. I can't just leave." Or, "I don't speak German." I offered to cover his language courses with my salary. I offered to fly us home twice a year. He said, "It's not about that. I like our life here. I don't want to start over at 30. One night, he said, "Why can't you just be happy here? You already have a good job." I said, "It's not just about a job, it's about purpose." These conversations turned into arguments. He said, "You knew I'm not a city person." I said, "Berlin has lakes and parks, and it's only 3 years." He said, "What if we want kids? Are you going to give birth in Germany?" I said, "We haven't even decided if we want kids." He said, "This isn't what I signed up for." I asked, "What did you sign up for?" He said, "A life with you here." That's when I realized we'd never explicitly aligned our visions. We assumed our future looked the same because we were comfortable. Comfort can be complacency in disguise. I spoke to mentors and friends. I read articles about couples navigating long distance. People said 3 years wasn't that long. Others said long distance kills most relationships. Some told me I'd regret staying. Others said I'd regret leaving a good man. I consulted my therapist. She asked, "What would you regret more?" I knew the answer immediately. I would regret saying no to a dream I'd worked toward for a decade. I would resent Aaron. That resentment would erode our love. Staying would feel like choosing him over myself. Going would feel like choosing myself over him. It was a lose-lose. When I officially received the offer, I sat Aaron down. I told him, "I'm going." He went quiet. Then he said, "If you go, don't expect me here when you get back." His words were like cold water. I asked, "So you're giving me an ultimatum?" He said, "No, I'm just telling you I can't do long distance. I can't put my life on hold." I said, "I'm not asking you to put your life on hold. I'm asking you to be flexible." He said, "I can't, I won't." He then said something that shocked me. "I hope you fail so you'll come home." That cut deep. I realized he'd rather see me fail than support me from afar. That's not love, that's possession. I moved out 2 weeks later. We split our belongings. He kept the couch we bought together. I kept the bookshelf and my plants. We cried as we loaded the U-Haul. His mum came over, refusing to look at me. She murmured to Aaron, "She's too ambitious for her own good." I wanted to scream that ambition isn't a flaw. I wanted to scream that men leave for jobs all the time and are called providers. But I held my tongue. I didn't want to burn bridges completely. I left keys on the counter. He didn't see me off at the airport. He sent a final text, "Good luck. I hope you find what you're looking for." I cried on the plane until the flight attendant handed me tissues and whispered, "Endings are beginnings." Berlin has been everything I dreamed and more. The work is challenging and exciting. I'm surrounded by brilliant minds. I bike along the Spree River and pinch myself. I've learned enough German to order a coffee without embarrassing myself. I've made friends. A Brazilian physicist, a Swedish engineer, a Turkish chef. I've dated a little nothing serious. I'm rediscovering myself outside of the context of a long-term relationship. It's exhilarating and terrifying. Does it hurt? Yes. There are days I miss Aaron so much, it aches. I miss his laugh. Miss lazy Sunday mornings. I miss the smell of motor oil on his clothes. When something good happens, my instinct is to text him. Then I remember we aren't in each other's lives anymore. I still sometimes feel guilty. Did I break a vow we never formally made? Did I choose ambition over love? Or did I choose a healthier love for myself? I don't know. What I do know is that if I had stayed, resentment would have corroded whatever we had left. It might have prolonged our relationship, but at the cost of my authenticity. I would have become bitter. That bitterness would have bled into everything. By leaving, I chose discomfort now over regret later. Am I the asshole for prioritizing my career? Some think so. They argue that love should trump jobs. They point out that I could have found a similar opportunity locally, eventually. They say, I'm selfish. Others applaud me. They say women shouldn't shrink to maintain relationships. They say partnerships should adapt, not constrain. I think the truth is messy. There's no villain. There's just two people with different values. Aaron isn't wrong for wanting to stay. I'm not wrong for wanting to go. We became incompatible. We loved each other deeply, but love isn't always enough. So tell me, would you have stayed? Would you have sacrificed your dream? Or would you have gone, like me, risking heartbreak? Do you think it's selfish to choose a career over a partner? Have you faced a similar choice? Share your experiences. And if you're standing at a crossroads, my only advice is this. Listen to the voice you'll have to live with in 10 years. Silence everyone else's. That voice knows what you can and can't live without. Follow it.